God says, "Listen closely, my beloved soul, because this message carries a tenderness that time itself could not erase." There are connections that do not end when the world changes form. There are prayers spoken with such sincerity that they continue to echo long after a voice has gone quiet. Before leaving this world, someone who loved you deeply held you in their heart, not with worry, not with regret, but with hope. Their final concern was not about what they were leaving behind. It was about you. This message is not here to reopen sorrow. It is here to soften it. God says, "Love does not disappear, it transforms." The bond you shared was never fragile. It was rooted in something deeper than moments and memories. It lived in intention, in care, in the silent wishes spoken when no one else was listening. That is why this message reaches you now, gently, without urgency, without fear, simply to remind you that you were never forgotten. As you stay with these words, allow yourself to slow down inside. There is no need to search your past or replay moments. What matters is the truth that was carried forward. God says, "The one who asked about you did not ask for your life to be perfect. They did not ask for you to avoid every struggle. They asked for you to be held. They asked for you to be guided. They asked for your heart to remain open, even when life felt heavy." You may notice a quiet warmth as you read this, a sense of being remembered in a way that feels peaceful rather than painful. That feeling is intentional. God says, the response given to that prayer was not a sentence or a command. It was a promise. A promise that you would not walk alone, that your growth would continue even through uncertainty, that your life would unfold with care rather than force. This part of the message is here to reassure you that nothing important was left unfinished. Love does not leave loose ends. It leaves continuity. The influence of that care has been present. In ways you may not have recognized at the time, in moments of unexpected calm, in decisions that turned out gentler than expected, in resilience that appeared when you needed it most. God says, "You were seen through loving eyes, and that vision did not end. It was entrusted forward." The response to that final question was not about changing your destiny, but about supporting it. About ensuring that you would feel guided rather than abandoned, understood rather than alone. The message continues by drawing your attention to how quietly that prayer has been working through your life. God says, "There are blessings that arrive not as events you can point to, but as atmospheres you begin to live within." The prayer spoken about you was answered in this way. It became a covering of steadiness, a subtle reassurance that followed you into moments when you did not know why you felt protected, guided, or gently redirected away from harm. There were times when life could have hardened you, when disappointment might have closed your heart. Yet somehow, compassion stayed alive in you. God says, that was not accidental. The request made on your behalf carried the intention that your spirit would remain soft without becoming fragile, that you would learn resilience without losing kindness. That balance has shaped the way you move through the world now. As you remain with this message, you may recall moments when things did not unfold the way you expected, yet later revealed themselves as merciful turns. Paths that ended spared you exhaustion. Delays preserved your peace. New beginnings arrived only after you were ready to receive them. God says, these were quiet answers to that prayer, woven into the timing of your life rather than announced loudly. This part of the message also invites you to release any lingering guilt you may carry for continuing forward. Love does not ask you to pause your life in remembrance. It asks you to live fully, honestly, and with openness. God says, the one who asked about you wanted your days to feel meaningful, not heavy. They wanted you to feel accompanied, not watched from a distance. Notice how your intuition has often guided you away from choices that would have drained you. You felt a hesitation you could not explain, a calm certainty to wait, a gentle nudge to choose differently. God says, guidance was part of the response. It was meant to help you trust yourself more deeply, to feel supported without losing autonomy. There is also comfort here for moments when you felt alone even while surrounded by people. God says, presence does not always feel like company. Sometimes it feels like steadiness, like a quiet strength that keeps you upright when emotions swell. That strength has been available to you more often than you realize, especially during moments when you thought you were relying only on yourself. The message reminds you that the prayer spoken about you was not limited by time. It continues to influence how opportunities find you, how relationships unfold, how healing integrates into your life. You were never meant to be shielded from growth, but you were meant to be supported through it. As this message deepens, allow yourself to accept that being remembered does not bind you to the past. It frees you to move forward with a sense of continuity. Love asks that you be guided, and guidance answered by becoming part of your journey, not a shadow behind you. Stay present with this understanding. Let it settle gently. The message is still unfolding, and what comes next will help you see how this prayer continues to express itself, not as memory, but as living reassurance that accompanies you into the chapters ahead. The message now moves into a place of deeper understanding, where memory no longer feels like something behind you but like something that continues to walk with you gently. God says, the prayer spoken about you did not ask for your pain to disappear instantly. It asked for meaning to find you even when answers were unclear. It asked that your heart would not close during moments of confusion, that you would continue to feel connected to life even after loss reshaped your world. There were days when emotions surfaced unexpectedly, when a thought or a moment brought quiet heaviness. God says, those moments were not signs that you were moving backward. They were reminders that love leaves an imprint, not a wound. That imprint does not weaken you. It deepens you. It gives you the capacity to understand others with compassion and to meet your own feelings without fear. As you stay with this message, notice how your understanding of strength has evolved. You no longer equate it with silence or endurance alone. You allow yourself to feel without judgment. You recognize that honoring what you feel does not pull you away from the present, it grounds you in it. God says, this emotional honesty was part of the answer given to that prayer. It allows healing to remain alive rather than hidden. You may begin to recognize that certain values you carry now were quietly passed to you through love rather than instruction. The way you show care. The way you pause before reacting. The way you protect what matters without hardening yourself. God says, these qualities are not accidental. They are continuations. They keep connection alive without keeping you tied to sorrow. This part of the message invites you to see how your life has been gently oriented toward growth rather than stagnation. You were not meant to stay in one emotional place. You were meant to move forward with memory integrated, not erased. God says, remembrance does not prevent new joy. It teaches you how to hold joy with depth and gratitude. There may have been moments when you questioned whether moving on meant leaving something behind. God says, moving forward does not diminish love. It honors it. The prayer spoken about you asked that you would continue to experience life fully, not half-heartedly, not guarded by fear of loss. That intention has been guiding you toward experiences that feel sincere, steady, and nourishing. Notice how your perspective has widened. You see situations with more patience. You respond with less urgency. You understand that time reveals what force never could. God says, this patience is another expression of that prayer's answer. It allows your life to unfold without pressure, creating space for understanding rather than reaction. This message also affirms that you were never expected to carry remembrance alone. Support appears in different forms, through moments of clarity, through unexpected comfort, through an inner sense of being accompanied even when external support feels distant. God says, presence does not always announce itself. Sometimes it simply steadies you enough to take the next step. As this message continues, allow yourself to rest in the idea that what was asked for you was not separation, but continuity. Love did not end. It changed form and found new ways to express itself through your resilience, your awareness, and your capacity to remain open. Stay with this calm recognition. The message is still unfolding, and what comes next will bring this understanding into a quiet completion that allows you to carry remembrance as strength rather than weight. The message now comes to a place of quiet completion, not with an ending, but with reassurance that settles gently into your heart. God says, the prayer spoken about you was never meant to keep you looking backward. It was meant to help you walk forward without fear. Love does not ask you to remain in sorrow. Love asks you to live fully, carrying memory as strength, not as weight. There is something important you are being invited to understand now. The response to that prayer was not about fixing every pain or removing every challenge. It was about companionship. It was about ensuring that when you faced moments of uncertainty, you would feel steadiness rather than collapse, clarity rather than confusion. God says, this is why even in difficult seasons, something within you remained intact. You were guided to endure without losing yourself. As you remain with this message, you may feel a gentle sense of permission settling in. Permission to smile without guilt. Permission to hope without hesitation. Permission to build new memories without feeling disloyal to the past. God says, honoring love does not mean limiting joy. It means allowing joy to grow from the same place love once lived. You may recognize now that certain comforts appeared in your life at moments when you needed them most. Not dramatic signs, but simple steadiness. A thought that calmed you. A decision that protected your peace. A sense of reassurance that arrived without explanation. God says, these were not accidents. They were expressions of the promise made in response to that prayer. This final part of the message invites you to trust the quiet confidence you have been developing. You no longer need to question whether it is okay to move forward. You no longer need to justify your healing. The one who asked about you wanted your life to continue with meaning, growth, and openness. That wish has been honored in ways that respect your individuality and your timing. Notice how your heart feels now compared to before this message began. There may be softness where tension once lived, clarity where confusion lingered, or calm where heaviness remained. God says, this is not coincidence. It is understanding arriving gently, without force. The message concludes by reminding you that love never leaves you unaccompanied. It changes form, but it remains present, supporting rather than holding back, guiding rather than controlling. You are not walking away from what mattered. You are carrying it forward in a way that allows you to live fully and honestly. God says, you are free now to trust your path. You are supported in ways you cannot always see, but can often feel. Let this understanding stay with you, not as a moment, but as a quiet assurance woven into your days. This is not the end of something precious. It is the continuation of it, expressed through your resilience, your awareness, and your capacity to move forward with peace.